Good morning to you. We're up bright and early-ish for a holiday weekend, and with very good reason, because one of our semi-finals in the Dafabet World Championship may have finished early last night, and we'll be reflecting on Ronnie O'Sullivan's victory a little later. But there's a whole lot of mileage left in the other one. In fact, 2 further sessions are scheduled in this match, and it's a blockbuster. It really is. Between Mark Selby, the world number 3 and the man who reached the final here at the Crucible 7 years ago, and Neil Robertson, the world number 1. Now, the Australian claimed this title 4 years ago, but is arguably an even better player now than he was then.
Neil Robertson's technique is absolutely superb. If ever you want an example of pushing the cue through gun barrel straight, that's what you get with Neil Robertson. That's what makes him one of the best long potters in the game.
His temperament is absolutely superb. You've made a great poker player, Neil. You never know when he's under pressure. He keeps that same poker face, whether he's just missed an easy shot or whether he's knocked in a century break. And that's one of the great ingredients that the Aussie has.
When you talk about star appeal, I think Neil Robertson is one of the players you'd have to put in that category. Very consistent player, great break wielder, great long potter, and that's the reason the public come and watch him play.
With regards to Neil Robertson's break building, it certainly has improved over the last 3 or 4 seasons. And it shows in the fact that he's now made over 300 competitive centuries. That's top draw.
He certainly has become one of the most consistent players in the game. After dropping off the main tour in the early part of the millennium, he comes storming back in the mid-2000s and has won tournaments all over the world. And he's one of the rare players that's won the big 3, the UK, the Masters and the World Championship.
But I think to go on to win multiple World Championships, he's going to have to play his natural game. Sometimes he goes into his shell, doesn't play the all-out attacking game. I know sometimes you've got to do that, but I think the more attacking he is, the more dangerous he becomes.
I was born in Leicester on the 19th of June 1983. My nickname is the Jester from Leicester. I turned professional in 1999. In 2007, I reached the final of the World Championship. I won the Masters at Wembley in 2008. I won my first ranking title at the Welsh Open in 2008. In 2010, I beat Ronnie O'Sullivan in a final frame decider at the Masters. In 2012, I won the UK Championship. I won the Masters again in 2013.
And for the 3rd time, we're awaiting the call, and Neil is doing so in the company with his 3-year-old son. There's Alexander. Now, Alexander was born just a few days after Neil won the world title in 2010. Big smile. He's going to be 4 on the 12th of May. And there he is, keeping his dad company just before he goes out. It's a very proud moment for Neil. I was just chatting to him about the wee man. And there he is, all smiles as he waits to see his dad off into the arena. So let's not keep them hanging around any longer. Selby, remember, 9-7 ahead in this unfolding drama. So if you're just coming to after a big Friday night, what a wake-up call this promises to be. Let's get going with MC Rob Walker.
Thanks, Hazel. Ladies and gentlemen, this has the makings of one of the all-time great Crucible semi-finals. What a massive morning in prospect for these 2 world-class players. What a shame there's only room for one of them to join Ronnie O'Sullivan in tomorrow's Dafabet World Championship final. Please welcome a player who can hold his nerve on the biggest occasions, on the biggest stages. On his 10th visit to the Crucible, he's bidding for his 2nd appearance in the final. He's a man who's made the Masters his own in recent years, lifting the trophy 3 times. He's also a former UK champion, one of snooker's finest ambassadors. He always plays the game with a smile on his face. That's why he is the jester from Leicester, Mark Selby. And his opponent. What a fabulous fortnight so far for this proud Australian. World champion in 2010, Masters winner in 12. He completed snooker's Triple Crown at the UK Championships in December. Here in Sheffield, he's been the break chaser, the history maker. 100 centuries in a single season, but now there's a title to win. Can he take one step closer to another big one? Ladies and gentlemen, it's the world #1. Can you hear the thunder from down under? He is the Centurion. He is Neil Robertson.
And bagging the seats in the commentary box this morning, it's hello to John Virgo and Dennis Taylor.
A very good morning, Hazel, and a very good morning to everyone watching. What a session we're in for today. Remarkable last frame. Mark Selby had a 50-plus break, 53, and then Neil Robertson had a magnificent clearance of 61 to pinch it and be just 2 behind. So it's going to be a great session, this, JV. Looking forward to it.
Yes, and we always say there's certain frames that can be pivotal, and you wonder whether that 16th frame could be something that Mark Selby, at the end of this match, might look back on.
Thank you, frame 17. Mark Selby to break.
As the one that turned it against him, but lots of snooker to be played. 8 frames to be played in this third session.
There's the pot success rate. Mark Selby at 93%. That's excellent. 90% pretty good as well. And not much separating them in the long pot success department. And Mark, as you would expect, probably just edging the safety. But look at that, both of them, 133 and 130. And it was a fascinating opening session because we had some really good tactical play, and then we had 2 clearances.
Well, if this wasn't the first frame, I don't think he'd have any hesitation playing this pot. He's playing it, just if he pots it, just come round off 2 cushion, beyond the black. Well, he thought he wouldn't leave anything, but there's a red at the bottom of the cluster to the left-hand side. Looks potable to the left middle. And if it was to go in, I think he'd be on the black.
This was Mark's attempt at the long pot there, but he finished up hitting it on the wrong side. Just wondering if it drifted slightly.
Yeah, either that, Dennis, or it was a 10 o'clock in the morning shot.
Yeah, both these players will have been up early and getting themselves ready for the early start. Oh, that red's in the middle pocket. Now, you couldn't believe a red could come out of the pack and finish up in the middle pocket. You usually fluke one in the corner, but how this one sprung out of the pack was amazing. Just a tricky little roll up to the yellow here. And with the reds open, if he gets it tight, he could have Mark in trouble.
Neil Robertson 1.
But have a look at this red here. I mean, how would one go into the middle pocket from that position? Well, amazing. And he's trying to land on the red that's near the right corner pocket, but I'm not sure if there's a path through to that. There's a red in the way. Now, he's usually very good at getting out of these snookers. He's looking to see if he can get twice across the table, but it's very tricky with the blue where it is. That's what he's trying there. He's hit the wrong side of it.
I suppose he could play for the black. The black looks as though it's tight against the cushion. Well, he looks to be playing it with a bit of pace. But you've got to be so accurate if you're using pace. So the first chance went to Neil Robertson. It's gone begging.
Well, that's a little unlucky if he's covered the pink. He might just be okay. Well, that's tight, but I think he can just get past the red. Now, where has he landed here? I think he put everything into the pot there because it was a little bit tight and he's out of position. So not the best.
Touching ball.
Of shots from Mark there. That's where he'd like to put the cue ball so as this red wouldn't cut into the right corner. So both players just taking a while to settle in for this very important session.
Red.
He nominated red. The crowd didn't realise. Yeah, it's a little bit early for everybody, John, isn't it?
Mark Selby 7.
Yeah, but disappointed though. He didn't make more of that opportunity, Mark. As you say, Dennis, a very big session this. Neil Robertson lost the first session 5-3. They squared the second session, but Neil Robertson needs to win this session, you feel. If he loses this session, he might have too much to come back from in the final session this evening. Had to be very thin.
Foul and a miss. Mark Selby 4.
So Mark, quite happy to have it put back. As I say, it's very thin, this, and if you just catch it at a fraction thick, this cue ball could rattle in the jaws and stay at this end of the table.
Yeah, Mark. Thank you.
And of course, because he can see all the balls, then if he misses it this time, he'll be warned. We'll hear the warning.
There is another escape route
Foul and a miss.
for Neil,
Mark Selby 4.
and he may have to take the other option. There's one he can get down off.
You happy with this? Mark? Are you sure? Yeah? Got to warn you, you've got to hit it, otherwise you forfeit the frame.
There's the warning that JV was talking about. He can come down off that red. He could avoid the other. You have to have a fairly, well, not too thin a contact on that, but he might have to just change his mind and look for another shot. He can't really afford to try the same shot again. I think he's looking at that red that I mentioned now, and he'll have to be pretty accurate. That's pretty good. It may pot, though, this red into the right corner. He's got one to the left corner also.
Good pot. Nice solid opening red. Choice of blue or possibly the brown. Struck this really well, right in the heart of the pocket. If he plays the blue, he may have to play a little cannon. And judged it nicely. Got the pink still in the open and the blue and bought colours. He may not bother with the black just yet.
Yeah, he's looking at that, John. I'm just wondering if he was to... He'd love to screw the red in this to the left of the black spot, leave the black and then just roll the black along the cushion because the red's over the right corner pocket. But we know how tight these pockets are, so he may just elect to play up for the blue again rather than risk that.
Seven.
Well, I did go up for the blue, and he's absolutely inch perfect. Decent chance, this.
This will clear the pink.
12.
You can get nicely onto the pink here, and you'll have the pink in the open. Now he's back on the blue again, so
13.
I think the pink's sitting on its spot, and it's available into the left corner and the right middle. Be back for the blue again from that position.
18. $19.
He did lead 5-2, Mark, but Neil Robertson bounced right back with 3 frames in a row to level. It wouldn't be a bad time to open up a 3-frame advantage again.
24. Thank you. 25.
Always knew the pink was available. I think it's very important. That's why he's just taking his time here. Very important to try and win this frame with this visit.
31.
I think the one he's looking at is a little bit tight. He's got the one over the pocket. He'd love to take that other one, but he didn't want to risk it, so he's making sure here. And there's plenty of room for that
32.
red that he was looking at, so he can play for it this time if he wishes. The left of the 3 reds there, just behind the pink.
Sure.
He's just let it run through a little bit further than he intended, so it's a change of plan again. It was a stun run through, and he just sent it through about 3 or 4 inches further than he wanted. So now he's got to take the cut into the left corner.
Bit pacey for the blue. This isn't ideal. All of a sudden now there's a little bit of pressure and a good shot needed. This yellow will put in 55 points in front, 75 remaining. But he's played that well. That's as good a positional shot as he's played. Just red
41.
and a colour needed.
Well, that was amazing how he got on the red perfectly this time. The other shot, he only had a few inches to
42.
make the cue ball move to get on it, and then he's played this and screwed it all the way back up the table into the ideal spot.
Yeah, after the blue, one more red. Mark will be well aware of that. So this red to go 62 in front.
47.
With just 59 remaining. Just the start he was looking for.
Well, that's the frame more or less secure.
$50. 51.
So he didn't need the black. 2 yellows. 5 blues. 3 pinks.
57.
And he's taken these very well. Okay, he was gifted the opportunity
58.
from Neil. But after losing the last frame of the second session, Mark Selby, when he looked certain to
64.
hold a 10-6 overnight lead, he'd be pleased to have put this
65.
frame away with one scoring visit, which is always a confidence booster.
$71.
Looking very good here. One more good pot and he'll have a chance of a century break.
72.
He's made 46 centuries this season, which normally is excellent. But when you think of Neil Robertson, well past the 100, I think it's 102 centuries he's made now.
$77. 79. $82.
Yeah, all great players have this natural ability to get off to a good start. And,
86.
he's had 3 centuries so far in this year's World Championship. We've had 52 centuries
91.
so far, getting closer to the 55 centuries that was made last year. We know how tricky these are. He'll just play a dead weight and hope that it drops in. It's there. It's going to cling to the cushion. What a start from Mark Selby. You can't do any better than win the frame with a century break, and he extends his lead. He's now 3 ahead again. Well, what a start for Mark Selby there. He looked very relaxed, very comfortable, both players just at the start, maybe a little edgy, which is quite understandable, the opening frame of this very important session. And Neil got in first, JV, and if he had just been able to drop this in, if the black was available, he wouldn't have missed it, but he had to force it to get up for the pink or blue.
Yeah, well, I did say at the time maybe he'll just drop this in and play for the black, and the reason I suggested that black was tight to the cushion. And if we look at the end of Mark's break, when he was on the black, because it was tight, it just clings to the cushion. Now, I'm a little bit surprised, trying to force it up the table, using a little bit of side, that close to the object ball. You've got to make an allowance for the throw, and he didn't make enough of an allowance.
Yeah, he probably thought, I'll just make sure of this and not risk the black. But we'll show you the black that Mark, I'll just watch this, almost touching the cushion and ball at the same time, and it just clings to the cushion. And Mark knew straight away, he potted that.
Yeah, if they're just off the cushion, then I don't mind refusing. If they're tight, I'm a little bit surprised that Neil
Frame 18.
didn't try and play
Neil
for the
Robertson to
black.
break.
So that's the first frame of the session gone for Neil Robertson. And as I say, I just get the feeling, okay, don't lose this session at all costs, but if he could win it, we go into this evening's session all square, or maybe a couple of frames in it. So it's all to play for. But Mark Selby, that was a great start, and that will give him great confidence to push on here. Well, you can't get any closer than that without them going in. Struck it beautifully. Just caught the near jaw. Fractions.
Neil Robertson special, and there is an angle on the blue here, and this time off 2 cushions, and that's pretty good. I thought for the moment he was going to be unlucky there. As we show you it again, he just caught the edge of the reds, and I thought, oh, he's going to be unlucky, but look at that red that's just come out of the pack. That was a good shot.
I think he'd like to play this and try and hold for the black, but I'm not certain he can. If he goes back up the table, he's got to find the gap. And he didn't. And he didn't find the gap.
7.
And he's not on the pink. Just a safety shot left. Bit careless, really.
Yellow ball.
Well, he didn't play the pop down. crowd giving him a nice round of applause. It looked like it was just a nice pot, but
9.
he didn't intend the yellow to go in.
Robertson 9. Touching ball.
I'm just wondering if he can see enough of this red to pot it to the middle pocket. He's very close to the other red, but that's what he's looking at. He's just almost touching the red to the right, but he's looking to see if he can see enough of it. It'd be a shot to nothing, because if he gets it, he's on the black. But obviously that other red's blocking it, but it was pretty close. That was Mark in what we call the John Virgo position there.
You've got a good memory. Anyway, he didn't get tight to the baulk cushion, and he's left a pot on here for Neil. There's one thing you could put your finger on in the second session. The 8 frames yesterday. He started off very well in the first 4, Neil. He was potting all these long pots, similar to this. Then after the interval, he just lost his edge with his long potting, and that's a worry, because that's one of his main strengths.
You know, that last attempt at a long pot, have a look at the red here. Yep, that jumped, so that didn't help.
Always talk about the advantage of leaving the cue ball near the baulk cushion. Now this red he's playing here, he can only just play it rolling in dead weight, because as you can see, very straight. So that's all he could do, really. If he could have got his hand on the table, he'd have stunned that red in, and I'd have fancied him to pot it. Anyway, the red he played ran safe, so no harm done.
There's 2 types of safety shot that Neil can play here. He can try and open the reds up and get a good cue ball, or he can just play one where he doesn't split too many reds. He's played the one to open the reds up, and he's got a pretty good length with the cue ball.
Yes, and if he's blocked the safety path down the left-hand side of the table as we look, he's got no easy task getting his cue ball back to the baulk end. That red on the right-hand side of the table is a blocker. Well, he got into it very thick to avoid that red on the right-hand side cushion, but he may have left a pot on here. Hitting it so thick took the pace out of the cue ball. Now Neil needs to start knocking these in. Good pot. Unintended kiss on the second red though. So it puts a little bit of pressure on this blue, which I'm certain he's going to take on. Didn't want the kiss on the second red. Well, he's looking at the black, but can he reach it? Blue looks the ball.
Yeah, if he screws the blue in and just gets the white anywhere near the line there, he's got the red to the left corner, so needs a good shot though. Yeah, well played. Very confidently struck.
6. Seven.
Not the best. He's okay, but he's got to go in and out of the bulk area, avoid the brown and green. You could see him hitting that on the right-hand side, and watch the white, how it spins off. Nicely played.
12. Thirteen.
Neil just having a look at the main bunch of reds. Nicely on this red, can play for the black or the pink. Just looking for the red after the colour. Don't think he's on this red where he could play low on the black, which you'd like to play a little cannon. So just studying the options. This is where you do look 2 or 3 shots in advance. So is it
21.
pink and just nudge your red, or is he quite happy that he can find a red off the black? He must be. Must be that red immediately below
28.
the pink. It didn't look as though it went. Oh yes, clearly goes. And nicely on it. Well played.
29.
Delightful little cannon there. And that's really opened
36.
things up, and every chance for Neil to come right back at Mark Selby. He made that fabulous century break in the opening frame, but this is how this match has gone. If one puts in a good frame, the other responds.
A little bit trickier, having to use the spider. Nicely played. Never the easiest implement to play with. You know,
37.
that's a slight angle on this black. He looks pretty straight. Might just be able to force it round. He's got a red to the right middle. This would be the perfect
44.
reply for Neil after what Mark did to him in the first frame. I just thought there was a few signs,
45.
Dennis, in the middle of the second session that big breaks weren't winning it. Neither player were winning the frames in one visit, and it just needed someone to just raise his game. Looked like Mark Selby has raised his game, but perfect reply, this.
50.
From Neil Robertson. He saw the warning signs, had to try and impose himself now in this session, and every chance he'll do it at this visit. So there's all the
51.
potential of being an absolute classic.
Just needs one more red
58.
to make absolutely sure of taking the second frame. Just a quick glance at the scoreboard there.
Very well played, Neil Robertson. Mark Selby put a marker down, and he's responded. So what a start to this third session. Wouldn't it be nice and good for his confidence, Neil, if he could make a century? A little bit awkward with a couple of reds near the side cushion.
65.
Well, they've both made 2 centuries now in this semi-final, and we're starting to see 2 players at the top of their form. And what better place to play your best snooker than the Crucible Theatre?
70.
Yeah, this is the last of the easy reds. A
71.
nice angle on this black now to nudge that red on the left-hand side of the table. If he catches it just less than half ball, he could develop it for the middle. Well, he's played it a bit pacier than that. He needs to slow up to be able to pass the blue, and it's okay.
78.
So this is one problem ball in the open. Oh, it went in. Not 3 times, but knew the password.
And being a left-hander, the red's the wrong side of the table for Neil. When Rob Walker introduces Neil Robertson, he's now added the Centurion because of that
84.
century of centuries in one season. He's made 102 now. What a marker he's set down.
Wonderful shot. Okay, he didn't try and get the cue ball away from the cushion. He knew this black would be difficult. Oh, and in the end it turned out to be just a little bit too difficult. But he'll be very pleased to respond to that 100 break by Mark Selby in the first frame of this session. He's come right back. Marvellous 85. He still trails though by 2. Selby 10, Robertson 8.
As you could see, Neil likes playing in China, made his 2 maximum breaks while he was playing out there.
Thank you. Frame 19. Mark Selby to break.
Mark's turn to break off, and both players in fine form, but not the best break-off shot. Possible red for Neil Robertson to take on, and he can get on the black. And just looking at the bunch, there's a red at the back of that bunch that's available, so this could be an important early pot. The Thunder from down under pots a fabulous red there, and perfect on the black. Played for that red that I mentioned, and now he can open the bunch up.
8.
And could leave quite a few on here. Needs to be careful with the white. You never can guarantee exactly where it's going to finish when you play that type of shot. But look at that white stop, and then the topspin took effect. That's a little unlucky. If they're all covered into the left corner, he may take this red that he cannoned up into
60.
the right corner pocket, because he would be on the blue and he'd be on the right side of the blue. And when he starts playing well, he gets pretty close to these.
Neil Robertson, 16.
Well, I think Neil thought this was in. So close. But he knew by playing that red he wasn't going to leave anything for Mark.
Target now for Neil would be in behind the pink, which is near the yellow there, so that's the path he'll be looking for. Hadn't got the angle to swing it over to that side of the table, but that's not bad. I say it's not bad. There's a safety shot for Mark Selby, but there's also a possible pot into the left corner, and he's coming around to see if he played for the black, what would he leave? And if he is not leaving one of those reds, they all seem to be covering each other, he might take this red on. He's looked at it, but he's back looking at the safety shot. So it is the safety that he decides on in the end. If he misses the brown and hits the pink full ball, he could have a snooker. Well, half ball, not a snooker.
He's playing safe off this red that's tight to the top cushion. You've got to hit these perfect, otherwise the red goes back up the table with a cue ball. That's pretty good. Okay, he's not even reached the baulk line, but that was a very dangerous shot he had to play there. And he'll be content that he's not left a pot on. You'd expect a better safety from Mark. A bit thin. Good kiss on the green, is it? He'd be happy with that, because it wasn't his best safety, but the green helped.
This looks like a Neil Robertson special coming up here. Wow, what a shot. And unlucky to cannon the yellow, but you won't see many better pots than that. He had to cue this so well. That was the distance, but it was the accuracy of that shot and the backspin that he got on it. And unlucky to flick the yellow like that.
Neil Robertson 1.
Yeah, but it could certainly pay dividends, and when I say Mark was a little bit fortunate, he kissed the green, but as you say, that was a Neil Robertson special, and once he starts knocking them in, he really puts pressure on every safety shot that Mark Selby's going to play. If he's got his potting boots on Neil Robertson, there's hardly anything safe on the table.
Well, I'm just looking at the situation here, and to land on a red, I think he's going to leave a pot on, whichever one. If he tries to land on the one that's the left side of the table, he'll leave the two reds for the middle pocket. If he tries to land on the, see the four reds together, if he tries to land in the back of those, he'll leave the one to the left of the black for the right corner. He's going to do well to get out of this. He really is.
Foul. And a miss.
If he just touches that red, he could have got away with it. He may have left that red for the right middle pocket here.
Just needed another roll, didn't it? And it would have been safe. Well, he's having it replaced, so the problem is, as we know, that he was just a bit short of pace, only an inch, but you try to get that extra bit of pace and it can just come off the cushion slightly different.
Well, we'll see if Satnav Selby can pull it off this time, because he certainly knows his way around a snooker table. Hawkeye's just showing you that he's just trying to land on that red. Can he do it this time? Oh, he's just going to come up short again, and this time he can get through to that red.
Neil Robertson 4.
Just depends on the angle he has. He's got choice of colours to play for.
Thank you.
Well, he's taking this pot on because he knows if he put Mark Selby back in, he could get it safe. And played it with a lot of confidence, that red to the middle. So he's got a 26-point lead already. As we see that red, and he played it very confidently. Perfect on the blue. It's not a straightforward table, obviously. He'd love the pink to be on its spot. This blue will put him 31 points in front. So he's just looking the best way to attack these reds, which are all congested on the left-hand side of the table. After the blue, if he can somehow eke out another 40, 50 points, the frame would be safe, but it's certainly not straightforward.
Coming up to a minute, thinking about this, he could take the bull by the horns, pot the blue and cannon into the four reds that are to the left there. But he may have spotted something else. He's two reds he can play on quite comfortably, but he has, well, he pled to screw into those four reds, and it's all gone wrong. Just didn't quite get enough screw on this. Watch the white come back. He was hoping to swing it over and catch the 4 reds. Nearly went in off, but he's out of position now. Don't know if he can get this thin enough to get in behind the pink, but if he does catch it thin, every chance he could do. That looks a pretty good effort. Has he got enough pace? Not quite.
Yeah, we'll go back to his seat there, Neil Robertson, disappointed. Once he rolled that red in the middle and landed plumb on the blue, he'll be disappointed that he didn't find a red to follow. And in all honesty, I didn't see the necessity for this. And if he can't get into those reds, then he could have played a more careful positional shot. That's a pretty good safety from Mark.
Now it's who can get the white in behind the pink that's going to gain the advantage here. Mark's just looking to see if he took the pot on. Could he play for the black and maybe not leave anything? And that's what he's going to try. This would be some shot if he pulls it off. Just what he's looking at is potting the red and trying to get off the side cushion for the black, but now he's back looking at the safety shot. And if he does play the safety shot, every chance he'll get in behind the pink. I don't know if he can make the plant. Possibly have a go at that, but his main concern would be the safety. But he's back at the first shot that he wanted to play.
Yeah, I think what puts him off slightly about this pot, and I think he thinks that the pot's okay to go for, he wouldn't leave it, but he's just hampered by the pink. That's the type of shot he was looking for, but trying to get in behind the pink, as you say, in a possible plant. The main priority, get back to that baulk cushion. We'll use the yellow and brown will do. It's got Neil Robertson at first glance and a spot of bother here.
Foul and a miss. Mark Selby 4.
I don't know if that angle was there for that escape. I think the middle pocket was in the way. He's going to have it put back, but it looks he's had to go so close to the corner of the middle pocket.
Mark?
See, that's how close he has to get to the middle pocket, so we'll see if it comes off square or slides a little bit off the cushion here. He's got it this time. And if it's dead straight, there's no value in trying to pot this along the cushion. A little bit of an angle there, but we know how tough they are, so trying to get behind the pink again. Hasn't hit it hard enough. Still safe though, but that's what he was looking for.
was a pretty good effort, and playing it with that pace is why he swung the cue ball wider. He wasn't far away with the pot. The one thing that Neil Robertson doesn't particularly want to do at the moment, that cluster of reds, he doesn't really want to open him. He's got a 27-point lead. So if he was to make a mistake and Mark get in, he doesn't want to gift him an opportunity by having all the reds open. He'll want Mark to work for his points. Playing the cross double here, you just got to catch this just right. He did play a lot of right hand side. And not a bad length.
Yeah, this is a complete contrast to the two opening frames where they were won with one visit. This more tactical, but just as fascinating. This is a good line. Just a bit too hard this time.
It was hard to see whether Mark could get past the yellow to play the cross double safety on the red, and well, he can just about do it, I think. That's the easiest safety option. Of course, you've always got to be a bit wary of the double kiss, but that shouldn't be a problem here, you wouldn't have thought. He wasn't far away from it, and in the end, not the best safety. Not really put a lot of pressure on Neil to play a better one here. No pot to go at. He's looking at this red on the right hand side of the table, but be a very risky pot to take on. But then that red on the right hand side of the table could be a bit of an obstacle if you try to return back to balk. So playing this with a lot of left hand side if he's going to play it to avoid the double kiss. As I say, he doesn't really want to be bringing all that cluster. Now we see possible pot, but too risky. Well, there was always a chance he was going to knock the red over the corner. Has he been lucky? You betcha. You betcha. He snookered Mark with the green. Could never have planned that.
Absolutely amazing. You could play that for a week and you wouldn't be able to get in behind the green where it was sitting. I'm just wondering if Mark might have to come off the cushion and try and just hit this red that's over the pocket. I mean, just looking if he leaves the white near the jaws of the left corner pocket, would it be safe? But and if he comes off a couple of cushions and lands in that little bunch of reds, he'd leave that one that's over the pocket. So it's a bit of a problem, and he may have to take a while just to sort it out.
Yeah, I think I'm with you, Dennis. I think I'd try and hit the red that's over the corner. Well, you put the line in, and you could even knock it in if you were lucky. But I don't think you can try to hit another red and not leave that red over the right corner.
It really is tough, but in the end he may. He's pretty good. He's looking to see if the blue's in his way, and that might be what the problem is. The blue is certainly not far off being in his line. I think that's how close he'd have to get to the blue. And if he hits the blue, I think he said, is there any suggestions from the audience? Well, even Satnav Selby's in a spot of bother here. Neil's having a little smile as well. They're good friends away from the table, but there's no friendship when you're playing the semi-final of the World Championship. I'll just show you it going in behind it, but I think he's going to try that shot that I suggested. He's gone the other side of the blue. And if he had hit it harder,
foul.
He would have got in behind it.
Well, if Neil can't pot it, he's got to have it replaced. Okay, he was lucky to get the snooker behind the green, but as I always say, you have a bit of luck, take full advantage, because it quickly can turn the other way.
Well, the way Marcus tried to get out of it was that line. I thought he might have went the other side of the blue with a little bit of side, but...
Happy?
Olivia Martel said, are you happy? He said, no, I'm not happy at all. Don't know why they asked him, are you happy? Now, let's see if he can judge it this time. Oh, this is a great effort. Has he got the pace? And listen, Satnav Selby strikes again. Brilliant. Everybody enjoyed that escape. Well, with the exception of Neil, I would say.
Well, be a brave man to play safe off any other red, but the one that's closest to the cue ball, because you'd have to cover it, and no guarantee of that. You're looking to see if you got the cue ball up that end, whether you could use the red further up the table as a blocker, but as I say, very risky. Very risky. But he obviously doesn't like the look of playing safe off the red near the pocket. So this isn't certain. He's not certain to get this safe here.
And he's heading back to that green again. But he has covered the one that's over the pocket. You can see the edge of that red that's near the pocket, but if he tried to play down off the edge of it, he would just double kiss the white. And then the other thing would be to maybe try and plant one onto the other. He was just looking to see what he would leave if he tried that. But it's a bit of a problem, so let's see if he can judge this. Got to be so precise here. He's played the thin edge and he got the double kiss. That was always on. And I think he can get to the potting angle of the one that's near the bunch. But to avoid a double kiss there was going to be very, very difficult. You could only see the edge of it, but he couldn't get the white out of the way without the double kiss.
Yeah, this green and brown making it very awkward queuing. Referee having a very close look. Well, the red squiggles in. He doesn't want that cue ball too tight to the cushion, but if he's got a decent angle on the blue, it won't be too bad. The referee was watching very closely as to whether Neil was touching the green, but he didn't foul, and he must have a good angle on the blue. Now just bounced off the top cushion, played it nicely, good shot.
6.
You just had a quick glance there to see if one of the reds that are close to the cushion to the right of the black is available in a couple of shots' time. He's got an angle on the black now, and there's one at the back and to the right of that little bunch that's available. And this should just bring a few more reds into play, as long as he doesn't leave himself hampered on the black when
14.
he pots this, because he's got a 45-point advantage, so just be a little bit careful with the cannon here. And he
15.
wasn't careful. He's hampered now. You're never sure when you just play that sort of cannon, but he's got a red over the middle pocket if he can just drop the black in, but it's going to be awkward.
Yeah, I think that's the only advantage for him. He doesn't have to do anything with the cue ball. Still awkward cueing when you're striking down, as he will be. You've got to keep the cue ball, object ball in your eye line, so your eyes are darting from one to the other. But as I say, just roll the black in, bound to be on the red. On another day, if you had to do a little bit with the cue ball, that would have been a very difficult shot.
22.
But he always knew the red was over the left middle. Just got to judge the pace of this. Pot's easy, needs to be on a colour. That's pretty good, okay.
23.
He's not got the right angle on the blue, but as I say, it was never a very easy shot to judge. So he's not going to be as close as he'd like to his next intended red, but this blue will put him 59 points in front. You see, just the wrong side of straight, which is the worst side to be.
Yeah, he's just trying to find a spot where the colours that are up the other end of the table won't be in the way when he leans over the table. And the better position was to come back here, but being a left-hander, I think he'll be okay with that yellow and pink as he leans
20.
across the table. So this would clinch this frame. Pot the red, nice little nudge on the other red. Oh, he hasn't got the right nudge. He's still
29.
got the pink though, but he'd have rather been on the black. He's 60 in front. Quick glance at the scoreboard. He's not safe yet. If he hits that full ball, he's perfect on the black.
Yeah, just looking at this shot, you just take it for granted. You don't think there's a gap there, and you think, well, if I pot the red, I'm bound to have the cue ball stopping for position on the black. And as I've said many times, take nothing for granted. And in the end, decided he didn't want to risk the pink,
Robertson,
which
29.
surprises me a little bit. But he just took the pink safe. He's got quite a few awkward reds, so 60 points in front with just 75 remaining is a decent lead.
Got to be careful here this red doesn't come across and knock the black safe. And it has put the black awkward. It's a good cue ball, but there's a pot on, but it was difficult to avoid canning into the black, and he needs that in open play. So he's got the pink that he pushed near the cushion. And Mark accidentally knocked the black near the cushion, so it's not going to be...
I think he's got away with this, Dennis. I think that blue is blocking the path to the red that Neil played. These two reds don't go to the left corner. And not only, I think, has he got away with it, he's not left an easy safety shot for Mark. And he can't afford to leave Neil Robertson another chance, because that would be frame over. So Neil's had a little run of the ball in this frame. That unlikely snooker behind the green at an important time, and that shot there. So Mark Selby not blessed with the run of the ball, but it's a long match, and that's why we say the World Championship brings out the best player, because that run of the ball should even out over a match as long as this. He looks like he's playing the plant. And he's got it. Now a little flick on the blue, perfect. Okay, the second red has gone against the cushion. It's not going to make his task any easier. But what a shot to take on and to get.
Yeah, brilliant plant, and he has got a bit of a chance here. He could get the black into play after he pots the blue here. But those two reds, if he was to play on the black and just roll the black in,
6.
I don't think the reds are available into the right corner pocket. So maybe it'll be a change of plan. No, he still played for the black, but he's now looking at those two reds. Well, one of them must go the way he's walking around the table. But neither are going to be easy.
14.
I'm not sure if both of them pot. He'd love the one away from the cushion, and it just about pots. And he could develop the other red as well here when he pots this, or he could screw back, but he needs to knock this in.
15.
And maybe, just maybe, as we show you this terrific pot, he might be able to bring the other red into play this near the middle pocket.
Be disappointed there, he's missed the cannon, but what a pot that red was. Just off the cushion. We know how difficult they are.
22.
And I'm surprised he didn't get the cannon. But he can pot this. Used all the pocket, and I think for a moment he didn't think it was going to drop. But it did, and he's nicely on the black. Look at this. Look wide. Now trying to push that through. Now we always say these are the difficult ones when they're just off the cushion. And it is just off the cushion. Just got to drop this in dead weight. It's got to be very accurate, this. Well played. Well, this is remarkable. I didn't think he'd get this far.
Well, listen, if he can move the red after potting the black, oh, what a chance. He's got it, but has he put it on? It was always going to be difficult. I'm just looking at the angle. If he tries to pot it in the left corner, I don't think he'll go in off this, but he might catch the corner of that middle pocket. But some of the balls he's potted here, I mean, when he came to the table, he had nothing to go at, and he took the difficult plant on. I don't think he's trying. He's just playing a safety shot here by the looks of things. And he's got himself somehow back into this frame with some remarkable potting.
Mark Selby, 38.
Well, that was a great contribution. I'm a little bit surprised he didn't take the red onto the left corner. He had the momentum then, and I thought, you know, you just get that feeling that you can pot everything the way it was going. His decision, though.
Well, he's faced with another tough shot, but he's got to take this on. There's no easy safety shot. Now, this is probably more difficult than the one he refused. So, how well can he cue this? And when you take that type of shot on, you'd be lucky to leave it safe. I think he got a kick there. It sounded, you'd have to see it again, but it sounded like a kick. Let's have a look, see what happened here with the red. Yeah, the balls definitely did jump, but I don't know whether he'd made the correct contact anywhere there.
Just the red and the black needed.
Wow.
So, yes, Mark Selby, well, 38 break, out of this world to get back within the frame, but just didn't want to push the bolt out too far. And he might not get another chance now. This black will put Neil Robertson 30 points in front with 27 remaining. So only one snooker needed. And that's why Neil is giving this a lot of thought, because he knows that when there's only one snooker required, you're not certain to have won the frame. And it's going to be a good shot to pot the black and get position on the yellow. And he didn't even attempt it.
8.
This is going to be the longest frame of the match. We did have a frame that lasted just over 40 minutes. This one's been going now for 39, 23 and counting. There's been a fascinating frame after the two opening frames we had, which were one with one visit by either player. And as you say, John, just one snooker needed. It's far from over. Such a tough shot he tried there. It was like what you call a slow screw shot, and he had to try and keep the yellow safe, but it was difficult to get him behind the black there. Neil normally would have a go at this yellow, but he didn't. Just decided to keep it tight. a snooker from that position. He's going to have to bend this slightly, and you can see the white. Just watch how it just comes around the blue here. And that's put the pink into a better position, and almost, almost, he was urging it to get in behind the pink.
He was doing a little jig there, was Mark. You're not allowed to talk to the balls.
That's knocked the pink safe, as we see Mark's little Irish jig. Well, Leicester jig. I'll tell you what, if the yellow misses the blue, if it misses the blue, oh, he's got it behind the blue, believe it or not, but it was a good cue ball he got in behind the pink, and surely there's not a gap there.
There'll be a gap. There's a gap.
Well, the thing is, if he has to bend it slightly, you know, he could hit the blue, or he could even slide past the yellow. I think, yeah, it looks as if he can hit it direct, yeah.
I must say, though, Dennis, and you called it right, if that yellow would have missed the blue, what a tough snooker it'd have been. So it'll be a very relieved Neil Robertson that hit that yellow there. But there's plenty of balls to snooker behind.
Yeah, the pink's still not quite out of commission. You'd want it just a little bit further away from the cushion. The green, well, it's just not in play for snookers. But let's see where Mark can put this cue ball. It's a bit short of pace, that. Oh, he's not going to drop in behind the green, surely. Oh, we've seen it earlier where Neil fell in behind the green.
I mean, ideally, Neil doesn't want to knock the yellow up to the balk end because there's so many balls to snooker behind, but I don't see how he can avoid it, really. He doesn't want to play the yellow thin and risk running it off or anything like that.
See, what he doesn't want to do is leave the pot on, because if Mark can pot the yellow where the green is, he could get himself in a good position to, you know, leave the white where the green is and get the snooker behind the brown. So he's having to keep the yellow safe as well here, Neil Robertson. This has got a chance. This has got a chance.
Well, it's a snooker, but it's an easy hit, or you'd think so. Just straight off the one cushion, the top cushion. Should hit the yellow, well, full in the face, really. That wasn't too difficult. When there's a one cushion escape on, at this standard, you don't expect him to miss, and that's why if you're going to get a snooker, you need to cut off that one cushion escape, and then the snooker can be missed. So is there a possibility here that Mark can get this cue ball in behind the pink? I mean, that would really be a good shot. You could get tight in behind it. Well, he
Switch
didn't
that
want
off,
it
please.
to kiss the brown, but it's worked out okay. Thank you very much. That was a result.
Well, he apologised, held his hand up, but he played to get in behind the pink, but there was so much happened with that shot, and I'll tell you what, this is far from easy to hit. Just a little bit of noise, I think. Maybe someone not just feeling too well. Just having a look to see.
Take it off for it.
Okay, back to the problem now for Neil Robertson, because this is a big problem. Now, he comes off the left-hand side cushion, lots of right-hand side. He's got a couple of chances of hitting it. If he misses it on the way going, he can hit it on the way back. Yes, well done. Deserved that, in all honesty.
It was like a trick shot, that. It really was, because the natural angle wasn't there, and he played that like he would play a trick shot, and didn't he judge it well? I'm just looking if he can pop the yellow and get himself an angle on the green to get in behind the pink again. And there's a chance to get in behind the pink. And if he gets the green up the table and the white in behind the pink, it really will be tough to get out of. But it needs perfect judgment. Coming up to, well, just over 47 minutes. It's the second longest frame of this year's World Championship. We had a 74-minute frame, believe it or not. Ricky Walden against Kieran Wilson.
Disappointing, that was a chance. Yeah, I remember that. I
Selby
commentated on that with Stephen Hendry, who was only 1 minute short of the longest frame ever at the Crucible. I could have made it worthwhile. In goes the green, that's a cue ball, okay. Well, would you believe that he's snookered himself? But it's a case of 3 4-point snookers required as he looks at the scoreboard. He'd be relieved to see that. And in all honesty, I'd be amazed if he didn't hit the brown. So 1 cushion escape, right-hand side cushion. He's looking at the swerve. That's risky. You could hit the pink. I prefer the right-hand side because I always feel if you're hitting the cushion quick, you never really judge it that well. But that's the way he's going, left-hand side cushion, but 1 cushion escape, shouldn't miss the brown. Yeah, nicely done. And
Robertson, 3.
as I say, now 31 the difference, 22 remaining, 3 snookers required.
Psychologically, it's always great to win a long frame. You know, you've battled away, and if you lose it, you're just a little bit down on yourself. Now if the brown, well, I was going to say if the brown passes the blue, but the white's finished up on the cushion, he'll still take it on if it does pass the blue.
Yeah, we were saying early on that just didn't have the best of run of the ball, did he, Mark, in this frame? But then he had that bit of luck when he got the snooker behind the pink. But a good escape from Neil. So sometimes you get a bit of good luck and it can help you win a frame, and then sometimes your opponent just manages to escape. So as you say, the most important thing is winning a long frame like this, because you want some reward for your efforts, and Mark Selby's not going to get any, because I can't fancy him winning this frame at the moment.
He's looking at the score, he's just thinking, if I roll the brown over the pocket, if he pots it, well, you still need the 3 snookers, because when you get to the blue, you get 5 points then for a snooker.
Yeah, well, funnily enough, if Mark Selby was to pot the brown, 2 snookers, 2 5-point snookers on the blue would do it. But it's still a big ask, because you not only got to get the snooker, you've got to get your opponent to miss it, and we've seen already that's not easy to do.
7 hours, as you can see there, for the match time, and we've had some fascinating snooker. We've had clearances, both players made 2 century breaks, and we should clip this one in, and Oh, he's overcut it. Can you believe it? And now Mark Selby can pot the brown. So 2 snookers.
4
needed. Pink's no good at the moment, so he'll have to try and get behind the black. And that's left the blue, and the white is flicking off the black, so this blue to seal this second longest frame of the match. Very well done. He'll be relieved. In fact, the players look at each other, and Mark concedes, and the world #1 has battled his way back again. He's now just 1 frame behind at 10-9. I mean, we had 2 opening frames there where the players won the frame with 1 visit, and there was so much happened in that frame there, and this is one. He's in trouble here. He's just playing a little thin safety shot. He's just trying to get the white anywhere up near that ball cushion where his hand is, and he hit it probably maybe just a little thin. It was still a good shot, but he pushed the red over the pocket, and the last thing he thought would happen here, John, was for the white to nestle in behind the green. It was amazing.
And as you said, he could have been there all week and not got that result, and it was a result. Anyway, it's keeping it nice and tight and enthralling, and we'll just leave you a few moments to
the pot success rate.
Stats.
Yeah, look at the pot success rate, John. He's still at 93% as Mark Selby, which is excellent. I mean, Neil's just dropped down under the 90% at 89%, but there's not much between them. Look at the safety success rate. They're both at 81%, so they're so evenly matched, these boys, and you just sense that this could go right to the very last frame. I wouldn't be surprised, because every time he goes 3 frames ahead, the world #1 battles his way right back again.
Yeah, I suppose if you were looking at those stats there, and that 93%, 89% Robertson, that is the difference, and that's why Neil Robertson throughout this match has been playing catch-up. Funny enough, Stephen Hendry came out with an interesting point yesterday. His opinion, he thought it would be a very close match because he didn't see either one of these players doing a run where they could win 3 or 4 frames on the trot, if you like. I see what he means, but Neil Robertson during this championship has had periods like that where he's gone 3 or 4 frames and never looked like missing a ball. He's not done it in this match yet, but he did it against Judd Trump when he was behind. When that barrage comes, can Mark Selby cope with it?
Yeah, that's the question. Will the barrage come?
And will it come? Yes.
Mark Selby has won everything in the game. 3 times a Masters champion, a UK champion. The one he wants is the big one here at the Crucible, the World Championship. He's up against the world #1 who has lifted the title. So with regards to experience, you'd say that Neil Robertson would be a slight favourite, but Mark still has that 1 frame advantage, and he looks very focused there, very determined. And meanwhile, Neil, after that very long frame, has been out of the arena for quite some time. We're going to have an interval after this next frame. All the crowd there just standing up and having a, it doesn't sound right, but having a rest, standing up to have a rest, JB.
Yeah. Thought only horses did that. But yeah, just stretching the legs. Yeah, when we look at Mark Selby, he's won every major thing in the game, apart from the World Championship. And we know he's good enough to be a world champion, but we say that about players. Best player never to win a world championship. You don't want that mantle. Jimmy White's been carrying that around his neck for many, many years. So when you get your opportunity, and this is a big one, you've got to grasp it with 2 hands. So, last frame of this.
Thank
Well,
you,
we have a
frame
mid-session
20.
interval
Neil Robertson to break.
after this frame. Neil Robertson would be delighted if he went into that interval all square.
I wouldn't think for one moment Ronnie O'Sullivan would be watching this. He'd be relaxing, but he'd like these boys to have every frame lasting over 40 minutes. And he's got the day off. He'll be getting ready for the final, and it's going to be one of these players, but which one's it going to be? And how much will this match take out of them?
Nice little flick off the ground. It's giving a good cue ball. There's still a path and a clear path back to baulk down the left-hand side of the table. But as always, you've got to be careful you don't knock a red towards the right corner. Got to catch this just right. And try and find that baulk cushion where the cue balls come from. So there's the red over the corner. And he's not quite got the length. Now, if this is just off straight, this is a chance for Mark.
I mean, if he was to take the pot on, that's the only spot he could finish in to get the black. So, I mean, he's got a bit of a problem here with this. He found it. He's unlucky.
One.
He's just a fraction away of finishing on the black there.
Yeah, as you see, just
Bramble.
overran, but what an excellent pot that was. I think both these players will be quite happy with
Mark
the
Selby
form.
one.
They've not made too many mistakes. It's been an excellent first three frames.
It's the first to 17 that goes through to Sunday's final. We played over 4 sessions, the final, Sunday and Monday. Can't see a path back down the table from that position. The brown looks to be in the way if you're going to come off the side cushion and just nestle into the little bunch of reds there behind the pink. And that's why he's been thinking about this shot for, well, there you see it, 1 minute and 20 seconds and counting.
Yeah, there's those two reds just below the black. You may be possibly. Let's have a look from Neil's point of view. No, you're right, Dennis. No path back to baulk there. So just trying to find a containing safety. Playing the roll, he's up quick. Well, he's left the pot on here. He has left the pot to the right corner. There's value in taking it on.
Yeah, because he will screw back, he'll cannon the red next to it, and every chance he can finish on the blue, and if he gets a little bit too much screw on it, he's got the green there. There is a possibility that he could even develop the pink slightly, so I don't know if he could play the delicate little one and just cannon the other red and leave it on the pink, but it looks like he's screwing back, but we'll find out shortly. Difficult to judge.
Thank you.
And he's left that one. It's to the left of the blue. But when they're that close together, using the extension on the rest, it's tough to judge.
Yeah, tough to judge, but in all honesty, I expect him to be a little bit closer than that with the pot. So Mark Selby had half a chance there. This is a good chance now for Neil. Okay, the black's not on its spot, but the pink at the moment is in the open. There's plenty of loose reds to play for. How many can you score?
Six.
Well, he has a chance if he wishes to roll this red in, and drop on the black, and leave that tricky black along the cushion. He's coming around to look at it. He's got other options, but if he was to get the black back onto its spot, looks as if he's going to forget about that and concentrate on the pink and blue there. He hasn't quite got the angle to just drop that red in the middle of the two there. With plenty of options.
Seven.
Well, let's see how he gets on the red this time.
Twelve.
Just gone a little too far again on that red to the right of the black. I'm sure he was trying to get straighter and then just drop it in, drop the black along the cushion, and then he's got the red that's just to the left of the cue ball at the moment. But another forcing shot, and this time
13.
it's the wrong side of the blue, but it shouldn't be a problem. There's no brown in the way to cannon into when he comes off the ball cushion. But just looking at it, there's not many reds to drop on. The two to the left of the black would be his target here to get on. Wow. What has he done there? He's played it with side, he's got down and missed
Robertson,
a sitter.
13.
I don't know if it kicked or not. He's looking at the cue ball now. Did it jump? Because let's have a look. Hard to tell from that angle.
Well, I mean, it was a poor shot. He's played it with lots of right-hand side, and he's kicked the blue off to the left, which he should be aware of anyway. That's the problem. That's why the players, the modern-day players on these super fine cloths, don't like using side. But unforgivable to miss that. He was more interested on the path of the cue ball and getting the right amount of side on. Big chance he's missed there.
But the black's not available now because that red has just ran to the right of it, so it's put it out of commission. The pink, well, it's not too bad. Blue, not too bad either. That red that's closest to the pink must be available.
4.
But he wanted to be straighter on it. Just enough room. But the straighter the pot, the easier it would be from that angle. So you'll have to be pretty precise with this, and he's going to cannon the pink as well if he takes it on. He's looking from both sides. Just goes. Yeah, well played. Not perfect, but he got the main part of the shot. He potted the red. He's going to have to go up past the green and back up to the reds again. The gap's okay this time, and he's found the gap.
11.
As JV says, there's always a gap.
Starting to play for the blue, and he just that nicely. Right, just bounced a little bit. I mean, this is the type of shot that if he'd have caught the loose red full ball, he may have been on nothing, but found the gap, got a lovely line. Just enough angle on the blue, but you saw he tried to force it round, but it just caught the cue ball, just caught the jaw of the pocket, which took it back up the side cushion. Just watch the cue ball. Just catches the jaw of the pocket, and that's what keeps it clinging to the side cushion. So this red is on, but where the cue ball is, it's a very tough shot. And I don't think it's a case of just rolling the red in and being on the pink. He's got to play it with a little bit of pace. Makes this pot very difficult. To the extent where I think you're sometimes wise to refuse these. If he could just roll the red in and be on the pink, fine. But if he can't, it might be a risk too far. He's got a 5-point lead.
Mark now studying for quite some time. Just the way the frames have gone for the last, well, 2 frames. The opening frames were one with one visit.
Well, he's still thinking about the loose red. But it's a dangerous shot to take on. Thought better of it, and I don't blame him.
In the end, he's played a clever shot.
Selby,
He's
17.
brought the black into play, which has opened the game up somewhat. Well, he looked to see if this red would cut past the black, but what a good shot that is, because he would have sent that red towards the corner pocket where the black is, and that was judged perfectly. To hit that shot that thin. I'll give him 10 out of 10 for that shot.
Yeah, it looks an easy enough escape off the left-hand side cushion, that cluster of reds. It's one of those, though, you just don't want to slide by them. And certainly don't know it's into them too hard. So he's got a good line. Has he got the pace?
Foul and a miss. Neil Robertson 4. Yeah. Want me to clean it?
Well, he's asking for the blue ball to be clean because he thinks that's what caused him to miss it before. But I'm certain he's going to have this replaced. But having the blue clean first.
Yeah, so he's still thinking about that shot here that he played. And, well, maybe he did get a kick.
Well, you put right-hand side on, you're so close, it will push the object ball to the left. And obviously, hitting it that hard, you can get a little bit of a bruising on the blue. Anyway, that was not the point. The point is, he's had it replaced. Mark got the line, just needs another, what, fraction more speed. Has he got it this time? Has he got it this time?
Foul and a miss. Robertson full.
Well, what we're going to have clean first? Oh no, we'll just put the ball back.
He can have as many goes at this as he wants because he can't see a red on, so 3 misses and you lose the frame. Doesn't apply.
He's just so frightened of overhitting this, because if he overhits it, then he could nudge a red on.
Well, he's shorter again this time. He's nowhere near.
He's getting further away, as it turns out, and these points all add up. They can make the difference at the end of a frame, whether you just need the blue or the pink, if it ever gets to that stage.
Well, there you see it, the 4th attempt. And he might get a big cheer if he does reach it this time. Yes, he's got it this time. Just flexing his muscles to show you that he had the strength to reach the reds. That's why they call him the Jester from Leicester.
Well, we've come to the end of our time here on BBC Two this morning, but don't forget it continues live on the red button and online. And thereafter, we'll be back over on BBC One at 1:15 this afternoon for continued coverage of this enthralling match. They haven't got to their mid-session interval, and we're already 2 hours into this session. This could run and run. Looking forward to seeing you and sharing your company 1:15. In the meantime, ta-ra for now.